What's up, everybody? Welcome to episode 119 of Penny in the Booth podcast. Thank you so much for all the sports this playing. Very much appreciated. I had to pre-record this because of by the time I got home, had stuff to do when I got home from the game. Had to go when I got home from the game, from Mets Brewers game, which we'll get into momentarily. Uh, and it just worked out better to pre-record instead of go live. So this episode is going to be pre-recorded. Hopefully, we'll be back to live episodes next week, especially since I'm not going to another game for a little bit, as my next game isn't going to be till the end of the month. But that is why this episode is pre-recorded and not live. The Mets have behind me from what I wore during the game today. We'll dive in that. We also got March Madness recap, an update up until Final Four. That is this Saturday. I believe Final Four is uh the championship is Monday the 8th, so that will be right before next. That'll be before next episode, and Final Four will be Saturday the 6th. But we've passed through the Sweet 16 and Elite 8. We'll be going through that. My bracket, spoiler alert, is out. Houston lost in the Sweet 16, so my bracket is no longer around, and my bracket is toast. I went 1 for 7 in the Sweet 16, and I'm over the rest of the rounds, so my bracket is completely out. The one pick I did get right, for context, in the Sweet 16 was San Diego State over Yale. But my bracket is toast. Honestly, not gonna. I mean, I'll go through the other scores, but yeah, that's the only pick I got correct in my bracket. My bracket is out. In that race. And we've got some NFL news and some MLB news that have happened between this week's and last week's episode. Also, first 4 days of MLB action. Got some notes from the first 4 days. And let's dive right into it. We'll start with March Madness. San Diego State, UConn beat San Diego State 82-52. Alabama upset number 1 North Carolina 89-87. Number 6, Clemson upset number 2, Arizona 77-72. Number 3, Illinois upset number 2, Iowa State 72-69. This is from Sweet 16. Number 1, Purdue beat Gonzaga 80-68. Number 4, Duke upset number 1, Houston 54-51, which knocked out my bracket. Number 11, NC State beat number 2, Marquette 67-58. And number 2, Tennessee beat number 3, Creighton 82-75. Setting up the Sweet 16 matchups of Illinois against UConn, Clemson against Alabama, Tennessee against Purdue, NC State versus Duke, in which UConn beat Illinois 77-52 and Alabama beat Clemson 89-82. And then Purdue beat Tennessee 72-66 and NC State beat Duke 76-64. So, scheduled for the Final Four, NC State at Purdue will be at 6:09 on TBS on Saturday, this coming Saturday. And then Alabama against UConn, 8:49 on TBS. This game, all the rest of the games are going to be from State Farm Stadium in Glendale, Arizona, where home of the Arizona Cardinals. And Monday, April 8th at 9:20 p.m. will be the championship. We'll see how things play out. But that is the update on March Madness. Probably be at least through Final Four, maybe Sweet 16, depending on when I record, or championship, I meant, depending on when I record next week's episode. Before we dive into the gigantic MLB headlines for today, we've got some NFL news to go over. Well, Jerry Sneed, after getting traded to Tennessee, also signed an extension with Tennessee Titans, 4 years, $76.4 million, makes sense for Tennessee. Cordell Patterson, after the new kickoff as the NFL's is now using the UFL kickoff system, which I think is a great move for them. And I'm excited to see how this ends up panning out. Well, after that, Steelers decided to sign someone to be a return specialist for them, Cordell Patterson, who could also be a running back for 2 years, $6 million. Pretty good running back and return man. Got a lot of speed. Solid pickup for Pittsburgh. See how it plays out. Tre'Davious White signing with the Rams, 1 year, $10 million. Neville Hewlett signing with the Texans for 1 year. Jadeveon Clowney leaving the Ravens for the Carolina Panthers, 2 years, $20 million. Josh Reynolds, wide receiver, signing with the Denver Broncos, 2 years, $14 million. Josiah DeGuara signing with the Jaguars for 1 year. Raheem Mostert re-signing with the Miami Dolphins for 2 years, $9.075 million, and the Eagles traded edge Hassan Reddick to the New York Jets for a potential 2026 third-round pick that could become a second-round pick. Kind of odd move by the Eagles. I guess we'll see how it pans out for both teams. Before we dive into the notes from the first 4 days of games, we've got some MLB action that has happened between now and then, all before opening day. Maybe except, no, yeah, all of them happened before the games of opening day started. Jordan Montgomery is officially an Arizona Diamondback, 1 year, $25 million. John Burdi of the Marlins was traded in a 3-team trade to the New York Yankees. Marlins get outfielder John Cruz from the Yankees and Shane Sasaki from the Rays. And the Rays get catcher Ben Rovit from the New York Yankees. Interesting trade. Interested to see how they're going to use John Burdi, a very fast guy. That's really just contact and speed. I'd imagine will probably just be bench bat, but we'll see what happens. And Will Smith, catcher for the Dodgers, signed an extension, 10 years, $140 million. Makes sense. He's one of the best catchers in baseball at the moment, both with power and speed. Well, power and defense. I can't say speed. I think a great move for LA to extend him, and we'll see how it pans out. Opening day of baseball. We're finally into actual baseball action to cover. Started off with Orioles and Angels, and outside of giving up Mike Trout homer, Corbin Burns was lights out. 6 innings, 1 hit, and with that 1 hit being the Trout homer, 0 walks, 11 strikeouts, just was untouchable. After that Trout homer, was most strikeouts in an opening day start for Orioles since Dave McNally with 13 in 1978 and is tied with Mike Mussina in 1998. Mike Trout will also hit the first U.S. homer in 2024. Reds beating the Nationals 8-2. Nick Martini had 2 more games for the Reds. Padres beat the Giants 6-4. 4-run 7th lead the Padres over the Giants. Jung Hoo Lee did record a single in the 5th for his first major league hit in MLB, and his sac fly in the 7th was his first major league RBI. Tigers shot out the White Sox 1-0. Colt Keith had a 4th inning single that his first major league hit. Skubal went 6 shutout, giving up 3 hits, no walks, 6 strikeouts. He's the 6th Tigers pitcher to throw 6+ scoreless innings with 6+ strikeouts on opening day, and only 2nd in the last 50 years, joining Mickey Lolich in 1970, Steve Gromek in 1954, Hal Newhouser in 1951, and Schoolboy Rowe in 1936. The Tigers are also the first shutout on opening day since 2019, and they did so against the Toronto Blue Jays 2-0 in 2019. Yankees beat the Astros 5-4. Juan Soto in his Yankees debut threw out a runner at home that ended up being a big part to seal the win. Had a walk at a 5th inning RBI single for first hit in RBI as a New York Yankee. Rangers Cubs. Rangers won 4-3 in 10 innings. Here's my thought on the controversy, and it's hard to explain this without the visuality of this clip, and I recommend you find it somewhere because it'd be better understand when you see it visually. But it was 9th inning. The Cubs had a runner. I think it might have been base load or runners at second, third, or something like that. Miles Mastrobuoni was at the plate, or someone was at the plate. I forget who it was. Pitch comes in with Jose Leclerc on the mound. Jonah Heim backstop, and he swings and misses, potentially fouled off. Though I honestly don't see it being fouled off. There maybe something was that kind of maybe gave it to me, but I don't know if he really fouled it off. They ruled it as a pass ball. The Cubs scored a run to take a 3-2 lead. Whole controversy. Most people think he foul tipped it. I'm not sure, but it didn't matter because Jarvis Jankowski tied in the bottom of the 9th, and then Texas won in 10. So Texas got the last laugh in that one. Guardians shot out A's 8-0. 5-run fourth leads Cleveland over A's. Shane Bieber went 6 shutout, giving up 4 hits, 1 walk, and 11 strikeouts. Arizona Diamondbacks rocked the Colorado Rockies 16-1 to start a long season for the Colorado Rockies. 14-run third leads Arizona over the Colorado Rockies, which include Blaze Alexander RBI single, which is his first major league hit and RBI. This total runs in an inning is most in one inning on opening day since 1990. Also, a reliever for the Rockies, Anthony Molina, lasted a third of an inning versus Arizona, giving up 6 hits and 6 earned runs before being pulled, and now has a 162.00 ERA. I don't know if he's pitched since opening day, but at least from opening day, had a 162.00 ERA. You know what? I'll just take a look. Why not? Let's see. I'm pre-recording this anyway, so. Arizona, Colorado. I'm looking for Moya. He did not pitch Friday. Honestly, it wouldn't surprise me if he hasn't pitched since. Let's see, Saturday. He did not pitch Saturday. And Sunday did not pitch either. So he has not pitched since opening day and still has a really high ERA. But yeah, more from this game. The win is the third largest on opening day in MLB history behind the 1890 Buffalo Bisons, who beat the Cleveland Infants by 21-23-2. 1955 New York Yankees beat the Washington Nationals /Senators /now Minnesota Twins by 18-19-1. And ahead of the 2016 Dodgers beat the Padres by 15-0. And 1912 New York /San Francisco Giants, who beat the Brooklyn /LA Dodgers by 15-18-3. And the last one from opening day, Red Sox beat the Mariners 6-4. Tyler O'Neill's solo home run in eighth marks 5 straight opening days with a homer. Good for him. First with the Red Sox, which is modern day records since 1900. Congrats to Tyler O'Neill. Happy they got at least one of those outside the NL Central, because 4 of those were inside that with the NL Central. I don't know if anywhere against the Cubs. So hold on. 24, 23, 22. No, I don't think any of them would have been against the Cubs, because I think the last time the Cubs played the Cardinals to open the season was 17, and they started the season as defending champions, but I may be wrong. But that's it for opening day. Second day, which ended up being opening day for 4 teams, Mets and Brewers, which that game got rained out Thursday, and Phillies and Braves, which also got rained out on Thursday. For Mets and Brewers, Brewers won 3-1. Jackson Trigono's major league debut, 1 single, 1 RBI, 1 walk, and a stolen base. Mets had only 1 hit in the game, which was a Starling Marte solo homer. Brewers is the 5th team since 1961 to throw 1 hitter on an opening day, joining 2016 Mariners, who actually lost 3-2 to Texas. 2015 Oakland A's, who won 8-0 versus the Texas Rangers. 1991 Montreal Expos won 7-0 against the Pirates, who are now the Washington Nationals, of course. And 1964 Los Angels, who won 4-0 versus the Washington Senators, which are now the Texas Rangers. Yes, there are 2 different Senators franchises that became modern day MLB teams. Braves won 9-3 on the opening day for them against Phillies with a 7-run 8th. Phillies struck first with 2-0, and Atlanta just roared back, especially with 7-run 8th to win. And the last note from that day, Dodgers won 6-3. Teoscar Hernandez, who had a 2-homer game, first 2 as a Los Angeles Dodgers. Saturday, Brewers won 7-6 over the Mets. Rhys Hoskins, first game as a Brewer against a former division rival, had 3 hits, 4 RBI, including a 2-run homer in this game. Tigers beat the White Sox 7-6 in 10 innings. Braden Shoemaker had his first major league homer as a solo homer in the second, and Luis Robert had a 2-homer game. Orioles beat the Angels 13-4, a 9-run 6 helped Baltimore win that game. Guardians beat the A's 12-3. Keith Smith in his major league debut. Reliever went 2 innings, giving up 0 hits, no runs, 1 walk, and 5 strikeouts, which is the most Ks in a debut in 2 innings or less. 2 or less innings in Cleveland baseball team history. Pirates beat the Marlins 9-3. Jared Jones in his debut went 5 2/3 innings, giving up 3 hits, 3 runs, all earned, 2 walks, 10 strikeouts, and got the win on 22 whiffs. The whiffs is most for any pitcher in major league debut since 2008, and his first Pirate to strike out double-digit hitters in their debut since knuckleballer Tim Wakefield in 1992, actually recently passed away, sadly. Rangers won over the Cubs 11-2. Jared Walsh had a game-tying 2-run homer, his first homer with the Texas Rangers in the second inning, which he was with the Angels previously. Rangers had a 6-run 8th that led to the blowout. everything just blew apart, including a Josh Young 2-run homer. Giants beat the Padres 9-6. A 6-run eighth led the Giants over to the W, and Jung Hoo Lee had a homer in that eighth inning that ended up being his first major league homer. Yankees beat the Astros 5-3. Stroman had a solid debut for the Yankees, going 6 innings, giving up 4 hits, no runs, 2 walks, 4 strikeouts, and got the win. Juan Soto had a solo homer in the 7th as his first homer as a Yankee. Rockies beat the Diamondbacks 9-4, 5-run fifth for the Rockies, and Dodgers and Cardinals beat the Dodgers 6-5 in 10 innings, but Yoshinobu Yamamoto had a big bounce back start, but no decision, going 5 innings, giving up 2 hits, no runs, 0 walks, and 5 strikeouts, but got outdueled by Lance Lynn and got no decision anyways because the Dodgers lost in extra. Of course, there's also the whole shoving incident between the Rays and Blue Jays. That's a whole whack story in its own. While you're trying to go in the third and push back and Justice Cabrera and so on the Rays. Also, Mets and Brewers had benches clear because of rough slide by Rhys Hoskins into Jeff McNeil, which they actually did not rule as a legal slide, which I think should have been ruled illegal slide. But that's another story for another day. And then today's games, I was at Brewers Mets. Brewers won 4-1, complete the sweep. There's not really much to talk about this game. This game did not have a lot of action. Colin Ray shut down the Mets. Trevor McGill ran into way too many problems throughout the game, but got out of a lot of them, including a pitcher to catcher to first baseman double play. But yeah, there's not much to say about this game. The Yankees won 4-3, and it is the first time they're starting the season at 4-0 since 2003, which is fittingly also the year where the Astros combined no-hit the Yankees with Wagner, Oswald, a whole bunch of other pitchers. That season ended up in a World Series loss for the Yankees to Florida Marlins, at the time now Miami Marlins. Reds beat the Nationals 6-5. Will Benson game-tying 2-run homer, and Christian Encarnacion's Strand walk-off solo homer went back-to-back in the 9th. Blue Jays beat the Rays 9-2. Justin Turner had a solo homer in the 5th as his first with the Blue Jays. Royals destroyed the Twins 11-0. Royals hit 5 homers in this game. Salvi threw a homer in the first. Kyle Isbell and Michael Garcia both had solos, which were back-to-back in the 2nd. Bobby Witt Jr. had a solo in the 3rd, and Nelson Velasquez had a solo in the 6th. Tigers beat the White Sox 3-2. First Tigers 3-0 start since 2016. Cubs beat the Rangers 9-5 on the back 4-run 9th. Ian Happ went 4-for-5 with a double, a walk, and 2 RBIs and a run. Big time help to lead the Cubs victory. And in Sunday Night Baseball, the Dodgers beat the Cardinals 5-4 as Dodgers came back from down 4-0 beat the Cardinals. That's notes from the first few days of games. Standings update in the AL. Starting with the AL East, the Yankees in first place at 4-0, followed by the 2-1 Orioles, followed by the 3-way tie for third, with all at 2-2 between the Red Sox, Rays, and Blue Jays. In the AL Central, the Tigers are in first place 3-0, followed by the 3-1 Guardians, followed by the 2-1 Twins, followed by the 1-2 Royals, followed by the 0-3 White Sox. And then AL West, the Rangers in first place at 2-1, followed by the 2-2 Mariners, followed by the 1-2 Angels, followed by the 1-3 Mariners. Athletics, followed shockingly by the 0-4 Astros. NL East, Braves in first place at 2-1, followed by the 1-2 Phillies and Nationals, followed by the 0-3 Mets, followed by the 0-4 Marlins. And then the NL Central, the Pirates in first place at 4-0, followed by the 3-0 Brewers, followed by the 2-1 Reds, followed by the 1-2 Cubs, followed by the 1-3 Cardinals. Thankfully, the Cubs got that one, otherwise they would have been in last place. And then the NL West, the Diamondbacks in first place at 3-1, followed by the 4-2 Dodgers, followed by the 3-3 Padres, followed by the 2-2 Giants, followed by the 1-3 Rockies. And do remember, Dodgers and Padres factor in Korea series where they split each game. Tomorrow's schedule, but there's some very interesting series coming up this week, between Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, maybe even Thursday. Braves at White Sox at 2:10, Charlie Morton against Chris Flexen. And tomorrow's also April Fool's Day, of course. Rockies at Cubs at 2:20, which is the Cubs home opener. And Shota Imanaga's MLB debut facing Dakota Hudson. Pirates at Nationals at 4:05 p.m. That is going to be the Nationals home opener. Marco Gonzalez against Mackenzie Gore. Royals at Orioles at 6:35 p.m. Michael Wacha versus Dean Kramer. Reds at Phillies at 6:40 p.m. Andrew Abbott versus Christopher Sanchez. Angels at Marlins at 6:40 p.m. Jay Silseth against Max Meyer. Rangers at Rays at 6:50 p.m. Rematch of last year's AL Wildcard Series. Dane Dunning versus Ryan Pepio. Tigers at Mets at 7:10. Reese Olson versus Sean Manaea. This is also Javi Baez's return in Sioux City Field since leaving the Mets after the 2021 season. I will not be going then. Thought about maybe going, but it doesn't work out. Blue Jays and Astros at 8:10. Roden Francis against Bruno Blanco. Red Sox at 8 to 9:40. Tanner Houck against Joe Boyle. Guardians and Mariners at 9:40. Tristan McKenzie against Emerson Hancock. Cardinals at Padres, 9:40 p.m. Kyle Gibson against Matt Waldron. Yankees at 8 at Diamondbacks. That's going to be an interesting series at 9:40 p.m. Luis Gill against Ryan Nelson. And Giants at Dodgers at 10:10 p.m. Keenan Wynn against James Paxton. That is this week's schedule, and that is this week's episode of the podcast. Thank you so much for watching and listening. If you are new on YouTube, leave a like, hit the subscribe button, notification bell to notify when I go live and or post a new video. If you are new on audio, follow the podcast, leave a review, hit notification bell to notify when I go post on there. Thank you so much for watching and listening. I will see you in next week's episode 120. Bye-bye.